Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. I'll admit, it's later in the evening. I was about to go to sleep, but then I go and I'm checking the usual social media and I see that the Starcraft 2 Dreamhack Leipzig replays are up. So that means, in other words, there's a lot of Starcraft 2 to cast, a lot of games that weren't necessarily covered on stream, and a lot of games that I personally haven't seen, and hopefully some of you guys haven't seen all of these games before. So I'm going to look around, find some of the good replays, and I think it should be a great one here. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it is MaSa. Now, pardon me while I take a pause here. I mean, I like to announce what teams the players are on, so I'm actually just going to check. I believe MaSa is still on a team, unless I'm mistaken. Okay, yes, so he doesn't have the clan tag for it, but he's playing for Team OSC Elite, so basically they're sort of like a ragtag global team. I mean, they're relatively new. I guess I shouldn't use the term ragtag, but they're sort of like a newer team. There's a lot of different players from a lot of regions, so that's why I use that terminology there. And MaSa, a very good Terran player that they recently signed, so it'll be good to see how he represents them in this game. And his opponent, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is SortOf. I believe, I'm really bad with remembering players' teams' names. He is also on a relatively new team, Meloria Esports. So they're a team, they signed a lot of Zerg players, so I mean, it's sort of like the Zerg clan, Meloria Esports, the new and upcoming thing. So it should be good to see how well he's going to represent his team. I believe SortOf also recently spent some time in Korea, so he should be reaching new heights. And then MaSa, a player who always does incredibly well. I mean, he's one of the Terrans. Yeah, he can be a bit scrappy at times, but when it comes to sort of just charging head on in, he really tends to get it done. So as far as the builds go this game, MaSa, interestingly enough, going for his barracks on the low ground and then his factory. So I guess wanting to have this little bit quicker wall, and I believe he'll be able to complete this off with just one more supply depot. So this is a really nice wall coming out of MaSa. I'm already liking him just making these little tweaks to his play. And then going for the Reaper Scout. Sort of his overlords are sort of just like carving a path at the top and bottom of the map, heading towards MaSa. Meanwhile, feelings on the way for SortOf. So standard Terran versus Zerg starting out here. By the way, the map is Neon Violet Square. One of the larger maps. We've had some really interesting games as far as things go. MaSa's Reaper getting in there, catching SortOf, who was trying to go for quite an early third base here. But he will be able to deny that. There's no Zergling speed yet, so SortOf can't really step out. He may try and poke out with this queen, but for now, this drone's life could be forfeited here. Yes, it's safe in the extractor, but MaSa can always block the extractor, so he may actually get it, and MaSa does. See, now, if you're sort of newer to StarCraft 2, what was going on there was MaSa was trying to kill the drone, so SortOf turned it into an extractor there. As a result, I mean, it saves it. A Reaper can't kill an extractor. They gain health very quickly. But what MaSa did was that he stood right by the extractor, and eventually it was either SortOf has to cancel the extractor or let it finish, and he wants the minerals back, so he cancels it. And then MaSa used his Reaper to body block him from rebuilding that, so the drone was able to be killed there. So MaSa already playing quite well this game. Starting some Hellions, getting a Viking. Looks like he's got a tech lab on his barracks there, so likely going to be getting stim here. And then I assume he'll throw up a starport, maybe? No, he's actually opting for a supply depot right there, just completing that wall. The stim could be a little exposed if he does start researching that, but ultimately nothing too worrisome. Silly me saying that he'll start a starport when he's already got one and a Viking on the way. So MaSa, he's already got up this nice and early wall, so he doesn't have to worry about run-bys. Me, whenever I make Hellions, I move them out, and then the Zerg runs into my natural, and I'm in a world of hurt. Hellion's going to catch a ling or two here. We'll see if this Hellion does just fine. Going to take a bit of damage, but cleans up the lings. Now he's poking at the third base of SortOf, sort of expanding to the back left position. Zergs tend to like this base. Terrans tend to like the sort of forward base, and Protoss sort of tend to like the base at the back. Really, it sort of depends on the player. There's no strict pattern that the players follow. So SortOf now poking in with his Overlord. However, MaSa has hidden all his tech back in his natural. He's also got this Viking here. It's looking to get some kills. It has yet to actually find an Overlord kill, which is a bit absurd. Well, not absurd, unusual that it got so far out on the map before it found its first Overlord. It may run into this other one here, so that will be nice. If he gets two Overlords, that's quite a nice pick off. This Viking may actually may actually keep sort of a little bit busy here as there's this Medivac drop moving in with 4 Hellions. I personally am I think I say this every time I see it. I don't even do them myself, but I love seeing pros go for Hellion drops. They're just so versatile. They can move around so quickly, and they require such a good response right now. MaSa's starting to pick off drones here. He's already killed off 5, going for 10 there. 10 has already mass damage, and look, he even got an armory done, so he's transforming to Hellbats. Now he's going to sort of deny mining for a little while here, and the Medivac got away. The Medivac may actually be able to save and sort of support this one. Hellbat needs to be careful there not to lose it to the Spore. MaSa may lose the Medivac there, and he will, so maybe a bit sloppy there. However, 11 drones is already certainly a lot of damage there. He's already poking at the 4th base, or the 3rd base, pardon me, too. There's just the Queens and Banelings there to shut it down, and sort of doesn't really want to waste the Banelings on 1 or 2 Hellbats, but he is losing a drone or 2 there. Now 2 more Hellions ready to maybe poke and see what else they can get if MaSa will go in for them. But MaSa, he's already got his 3rd base on the way. He's transitioning back at home. So his stim will almost be done. It will be a while before he really has a substantial force. However, having the stim is always something nice for a Terran player to have. He's getting 4 barracks on the way already, so he's really getting ready for this transition. Okay, so double eBay, I believe, was already on the way. No, pardon me. Yes, there are the eBays. I'm trying to find them here. Where are they at? Where are those eBays? Ah, there they are. A bit of an odd situation at the back there, but I guess keep them safe there. So MaSa killed off a good amount of drones. Players are equal on workers. That Liberator actually got a few there, getting 3, increasing that count. I believe those Hellions might have gone in as well and gotten a few more too. Yes, they certainly did. So sort of feeling the pain right now. Sort of feeling the pain. This Viking already up to 4 kills, 4 of them. So they were all overlords there. So sort of taking a lot of damage in this early game. So it's really setting MaSa up into a good situation now. The question is, will MaSa be able to follow this up? Will he be able to deal good damage to his opponent? Sort of is expanding to a 4th base. He will need to sort of secure that if he's going to be able to come back into this game, as MaSa will be looking for damage. MaSa's looking to secure his 3rd base here at the sort of lower ground location there. MaSa, though, like I said, it will be a while before his production was really up. It's just starting to get up and running, then will be a while before a few cycles are out, so sort of has a bit of time. However, he did take a lot of damage. He's really going to have to rely on this map, on this sort of map size, his creep spread to buy a bit of time here. So spreading some more creep at the front would be good, and he's actually just moving out to do that right now. He's continuing on with his creep spread because time will be exactly what sort of needs to come back from this deficit. He's starting these Hydraless upgrades. Now, keep in mind this was pre-patched to my knowledge, so the Hydra upgrades were not quite split just yet. They very well may have been, but I don't believe they were in this patch. Right now I've got a double Liberator harassment coming out of MaSa, so getting some more drone kills, sort of. He's got up to a good count, however, everything that is forcing him to rebuild workers instead of units. 31 drones have gone down in this game, not a single SCV, and just for 10 Hellions, a Medivac, a Reaper, and a Liberator. So a lot of damage done here by MaSa. MaSa looking to maybe go for a bit of a creep clearing up here before he decides to move in. He's got these Marines and Medivacs, sort of really doesn't have much to shut them down. MaSa will be able to lift off right now and get out of the way. There is the Hydra, so however, he should be able to play around them. Actually, a very ballsy move from MaSa here, moving into the 4th base, and it looks like it will pay off. He's shredded a few drones. The Lings sort of trickle in there, and this is some heavily upgraded bio already. He's got the 1-1 on, he's got the combat shield, the Medivac support, so already a good trade for MaSa here. The Liberator's doing more harassment. Honestly, MaSa is just pulling sort of apart right now. The Liberator's repositioning. MaSa is playing a fantastic game here. Liberator is sieging on top of the Queens there, so that one will go down. However, 16 more drones have fallen. SortOf's being knocked back. SortOf's 1-1 has just finished, but MaSa's 2-2 is on the way. He's at double siege tank production, getting ready to deal with these Hydras, and siege tanks and a lot of bio with this support, with these upgrades that are going to be coming out, is very strong. Looks like SortOf may finally be getting a counterplay done here, heading towards the 4th base. Going to be able to deny this command center, shutting down MaSa's late game. It's going to put a bit more pressure on him for him to take fights. There's Hydras, there's Banelings here versus these Marines right now. The Hydra should be able to trade with this. However, there actually is a siege tank or two, so SortOf does need to be careful. MaSa relying on this position. He did lose his Medivacs there, which is a bit unfortunate for him. However, he has a few more. He's actually dropping in the main base too. Lings and Hydras are responding in time, so not too much damage should go down there. However, these Marines actually are still going to get a bit done there. Actually trading with the Hydras there. MaSa gets out. Meanwhile, he's pressuring the 4th base. It's a bit hard to push through. You sort of have the choice, do I break down the rocks or do I go around? So pushing at the front does buy a bit of time here for SortOf. He's just got to hang on a little bit longer. Maybe try and get a bit more of a critical mass of Hydras, get some Lings to support, and then get a good fight. SortOf looking for another run by MaSa, however, he's rebuilding his command center at the front, getting up more barracks as well, so his production's exploding. He's not taking another risk. That was a bit of a risk going for that on-location command center. He's got production, though, to shoo away these Lings, and he's still working on SortOf right now, so SortOf's in a lot of trouble here. Right now we've got the 2-2 on the way from MaSa, a little bit sooner than SortOf. He's going to pull back. He's still abusing these siege tanks. SortOf doesn't really have an answer here. Now, it is still tough for MaSa to push in. However, these tanks are really putting the pressure on SortOf. He's been mining from the space for quite a while, but he's down on supply right now. He doesn't have too much to trade on here. He's got a decent army supply. However, a lot of it is just in production at the moment. He's really not consolidated too much at the moment. A few Banelings rolling forward, cleaning up those Marines there. Not the worst trade in the world. However, MaSa's now encroached forward slowly. He's working away in the space and SortOf is eventually going to have to engage this. He's going for a massive Ling counterattack. Actually should be able to shut this down, get on top of the tanks. A few Banelings even coming forward. Not getting too much done there, however, really pushing this over the edge. Now SortOf's trying to take a fight, push MaSa back. However, there is so many siege tanks right now. The 2-2 upgrades are on the way for, or just about done for SortOf, so he will have the Carapace. His Lings will deal a lot of damage. However, it looks like he may have to abandon the space. A few Banelings rolling forward, connecting with some of the Marines. They're not the worst fight in the world. MaSa tried to kite back, but it wasn't just in time. SortOf now really being indecisive here. However, it seems that he may have managed to hold on to the space. He's getting on top of it. There's not enough buffer for the siege tanks. The Hydras are eating so much damage here, however, it looks like they may be able to break forward. The supplies are equal. SortOf, a lot of red Hydras there, however, it seems he may have pushed MaSa back, and that's really what he needed. I believe the command center may actually have been killed there with that counterattack. That's absolutely massive. MaSa going for a worker transfer. He's actually had enough. He's floating his main base. He really wants to keep this going. Is this a production misrally for MaSa or something? He's got 5 siege tanks back at home, however, they are not in the fight. Where could these have come from? He needs to notice these 5 siege tanks is a massive amount. They're equal on supply, however, between medivacs and siege tanks, that is a large chunk of MaSa's supply. These siege tanks are so important. I'm wondering how they got rallied up there. Oh, yeah, look at this. This is so brutal for MaSa. I guess the siege tank can't quite fit through here, so they're just doing the default AI rally. MaSa is going to be kicking himself when he sees this right now. He's got a few CVs chasing some Lings there, needs to go back. So it's important for MaSa to hold the space right now. He's got these tanks. He's got to be wondering where are all these tanks I've been building. Why is my army so small at the moment? 6 siege tanks. And these are +1 siege tanks too. Meanwhile, SortOf now transitioning, getting into the Ultras, and this has really given him the time he needed. Maybe with those few tanks there. MaSa pulls back immediately, though. Is going to see this Baneling run by, so he's a little bit busy for the time being. SCVs just run right into that Baneling. However, they got their Medivac bros to heal them. Those tanks, oh god, it's up to 7. Oh no. MaSa has been playing like an absolute monster this game. However, that one little thing is slipping by him. He really wants to pick off this hatchery. That would be an absolutely fantastic find. And he's still ahead on supply here. I mean, effective supply. Oh, thank God, has he noticed? Yes, he lifts off the factory. And MaSa just has to be thinking, yeah, he's killing that blocking tech up. He's just had to have been kicking himself there. He says, oh, look at all these tanks. He's maybe the U.S. military there, just finding a bunch of tanks he has stockpiled somewhere there. Oh, I forgot I had these. You know, so we've got 3-3 just about done for MaSa, so we will have an upgrade advantage. However, SortOf is going to have these Ultras, because they will have the chitinous plating, so they will be very tough. They're going to be a lot of bulk in this army. MaSa's going to push in. He's going to try and take the game here. It is mainly just Marine tanks, so these tanks will be very critical, and there is a Viper or 2 on the map for SortOf. Pardon me, I'll have to find these. There we go. They're getting energy, so 2 Blinding Clouds could be all the difference in the world. MaSa has seen them, to my knowledge. However, another massive counterattack from SortOf kills off the command center at the gold base. Absolutely huge. The SCVs are still mining. MaSa, though, he's looking to take the fight to SortOf. These neon violet squares here are blocking So SortOf is going to have to go around MaSa, trying to abuse that position. However, the further he moves in, the worse I'm worried that this surround is going to be. He's got Liberators in position. However, SortOf's now pulling the trigger on this. He's moving in. Blinding Cloud on the Siege Tanks. At best, they're an expensive buffer here. MaSa is fighting back. These Siege Tanks are working in the Ultras. Some of them are still standing tall, though, pardon me. Getting tongue-tied there. We've got some of the Ultralisks are focus fired down. There's a good amount of bio working limits. The Liberators are even dealing damage. SortOf might have overextended a little bit right now. Some of the bio for MaSa actually ran right past there. However, these Ultralisks should be able to be picked off by MaSa. It is mainly Marines, though, so it is a little bit rough for him. He's pulling back into these liberation zones. Reinforcements for SortOf. And now on the home front, it's looking a little bit more rough for MaSa. He's got another command center up, so he will be able to move over at the, I guess, 5th location there, but SortOf maybe looking to finish off MaSa here. He could really do with those siege tanks now. However, they're all dead. They were lost in that fight. MaSa moving a little bit too far forward, perhaps, and now looking at this, SortOf coming in from another angle. MaSa's going to have to react to this. There's a few Hydras at the front. The reinforcements really are going to be what SortOf needs. They're on their way at the moment, but it looks like that MaSa may have held on for a bit. However, this game really turning around for SortOf. He took such a beating at the start of the game. However, he's managed to hold on. MaSa maybe making that one critical mistake of with those tanks. A bit of a poor fight here and there. However, he's now in a rough situation. We'll have to see if he's able to work away on SortOf. SortOf, he's got a high count of Hydralisks and a good count of Lings. He's getting up the Vipers, so even if MaSa builds up the siege tank count, it won't go too well for him. This hatchery is so low. MaSa also never managed to pick that off. Going for a big drop is MaSa. We'll see if SortOf can intercept this. We'll see if MaSa splits off. Folk dropping on top of that gold would be nice. He's actually going to do that. However, SortOf sort of reacts to that immediately, and I'm honestly God, not trying with the puns. Massive Viper ducks. They're picking off 2 medivacs. They weren't quite full, however. Every unit matters at this time. Right now we've got a Liberator sieging up to try and deal with Lings. That's never a good sign. MaSa's got a few reinforcements here. However, this may be enough Lings just to sort of compromise everything that he has back at home. SCVs are going to start falling. They are pulled. But this game is ultimately really turned around for SortOf. MaSa going to get a nice pick off on this gold base. SortOf's economy isn't fantastic here. Drones were also forced to pull back at home, so both these players dealing blows to each other. MaSa not in a terrible situation just yet. However, it is going SortOf's way. 1 Viper on the table, 3 Ultralisks, so not a massive amount of high-tech units. However, with these Hydras and Lings, it is very nice for SortOf. I guess really the one side for MaSa is that there is no ranged upgrades for SortOf. He does not have the Hydralisk upgrades there. He does only have the +2/+2 for the Lings. Does he have adrenal glands yet? Yes, he does, so the Lings are still going to be a very good threat. However, the health in the army may be a little bit weaker for SortOf here, so MaSa may be able to make something happen. He needs to be careful here, running through those neon violet squares once again. A few SCVs may even be coming along for the fight. MaSa may be feeling that he needs to get something done here, and he's kind of right here. I'll have to use the word kind of instead of sort of, pardon me. We've got a potential big fight going on right now. We've got MaSa moving in. This bio's very pumped up. Really, there is not too much AoE. There's the Banelings. We'll see how well MaSa's able to kite back right now. He's got the siege tanks, which he'll be able to pull back into. He's forced back. Blinding Clouds do go down, forcing MaSa back. Abductions, though, however, the tanks are now sort of free to rain down on those Banelings there. MaSa sort of baiting out those Blinding Clouds, really saving those tanks there, and now he's got that to pull back to. However, he needs to be very careful. This army is very red. A second of healing from these medivacs will do wonders for him. And that base was cancelled by SortOf. However, another massive counterattack here. I was not paying attention or observing there. However, that planetary went down. MaSa was not able to save it, and he's already lost his main base. He's got a base at the back there. I guess he built that, so MaSa will still have a bit of a small income. However, he's forced to retreat right now to deal with this counterattack, and SortOf's really going to get away scot-free there. A bit of a drop going down for MaSa, however, will be cleaned up there. One of the medivacs... Actually, no, pardon me, they blocked. Okay, that Queen not quite finishing the job there. MaSa trying to keep SortOf on his toes, and SortOf isn't in a fantastic situation. He's really mining out on most of his bases, as both these guys not on good economies. MaSa is in a bit more of a worse situation. He's pretty much mined out of what was his third base, fourth base, and then he's got that back base. Both these players actually relying on that back base. They're really using that sort of safety base there. Army supply-wise, though, it's really looking in the favor of SortOf right now. MaSa trying to get anything done that he can do. However, Ultimately, he hasn't gotten too much done. He's got a good siege tank on this, so one good fight really could be everything. However, he needs to pull back right now. He's lacking the medivac here. He's gonna have to snipe down those banelings and retreat. He's got this massive siege tank field that he will be able to pull back into, and he's now getting up the gold base. That Terran liftoff really gonna help MaSa come back into this game. Over massive Ling run by there, getting damage, pulling the attention of the Terran player right now. We've got another Ling run by planned for the third base of MaSa. Right now we've got the siege tanks and some bio is going to intercept these links, so that's going MaSa's way right there. His production wasn't too compromised or anything, and now he's got the gold base up, so his economy should be coming back. However, he was forced mining off at this back base, and that's actually pretty important there. Everything is essentially on this gold base. I'd like to see MaSa resaturate this base, sort of trying to double down here, secure these two bases, and he's still got a better drone count than MaSa's SCV count, so he's doing all right here, not in the worst situation. He's got this strong army to fall back on, and he has fallen back on it. He's trying to get Ling run-bys. They're sort of hit and miss, however, not too much is going on for the current time. MaSa's poking in right now, trying to make something happen. We'll see if he can bait these Ultralisks sort of into a death zone. This is a lot of siege tanks right here. With no blinding clouds, I believe there was Vipers on the map. There's 3 Vipers. They're coming in. We'll see if they come in at an angle. These siege tanks, a good split for MaSa. However, this bio is oh so red. Another medivac or 2 would work wonders for MaSa. I believe one of his is doing a drop or something like that, though. Killing off an extractor, important work. MaSa's really overstimmed his army because he's just been trying to force out as much value as the Terran player. He's sort of whipping the horse, spurring the horses. They're trying to get him to do as much as they can. We've got MaSa producing as much bio as his economy will allow. He's resaturated that back base. Dare I say, a little bit more than he needs. Maybe it's time to float over yet another command center. Trying to get that economy back up. Maybe to really try and choke out sort of here. However, it looks like sort of maybe going for it. And this bio is so red for MaSa. I worry right now. And this concave is absolutely huge. Blinding clouds are going to go down. And I believe that's the army for MaSa all but gone there. GG gets called. MaSa trying to retreat, but he knows it's over there. GG sort of takes the game. If you guys enjoyed this cast, feel free to leave a like. I'm glad I decided to cast a game like this. And if you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be putting out a lot more casts now that the Dreamhack replays are out, and I'm always putting out a lot of casts. I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.